Hey everybody, welcome back to kind of a quick hit episode. This one kind of came out of nowhere, but it's a great opportunity. Today we get to sit with Max Martini, the guy from the unit. Max has done some just awesome military style films and some other great movies. And you know, we got linked up on the interwebs, and Max just happened to be coming near the studio, so we figured we'd capture that. And he's got this awesome movie coming out. It actually came out Friday called Osiris. So we're going to talk about the movie real quick, and give you guys let you hear from both the actor and the director's mouth about the new movie coming on. So hey man, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate you taking the time.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
So Max, July 25th marks something unprecedented, a sci-fi action film where special forces authenticity meets alien warfare. And then after decades of earning military community trust through films like Saving Private Ryan, which I've probably watched no less than 100 times, 13 Hours, I had friends that were there, another one that was real close to us, and the TV show The Unit, which you guys did awesome, man. That was the first time I think I'd ever seen you act, it was cool. You're taking that same commitment to realism into uncharted territory with your new movie Osiris. Can you tell our military audience kind of why that matters?
I mean, look, Osiris, I've been very lucky to have been part of some amazing films like the ones that you mentioned. And, like 13 Hours was based on an actual event, so there's a lot of pressure to get it right. This was a little different in that this is just pure entertainment, and it's sci-fi, which is something that I'm not super familiar with. So it was a bit of a challenge for me, which I liked. And then the other thing is that, Will Kaufman makes these kind of military-based films, right? As we met on a movie called The Channel, which was about two former soldiers and action movie. So this is military meets aliens. It's like it's a crack a beer, make some fucking popcorn and enjoy the ride film. It's not preachy. There's not much of a story. It's just it's a survival film, right? So, but the thing that I'm really proud about are the tactics, and I'm pretty hard on myself for when it comes to getting the tactics right, and I think this movie does. So anybody and everybody that's part of the military or is that trains or law enforcement, I think they'll dig it because I didn't see too many errors in there.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. So as I was, talking to some of my friends who are either still in the community or came from, the special operations community, I was telling them a little bit about you because we did a bunch of research before you came on, and I think every single one of them was shocked. They all thought you had served in the military because your authenticity and some of the roles that you've played have been, so that authentic. They're like, oh, that dude definitely was in the military. And then I get to read your background. I'm like, man, you must have really taken your craft, your training, your preparation to that next level.
Yeah, I mean the boot camps that we go through, they get pretty high speed dudes to run them. And and it's interesting. Like we did, sort of a World War II type boot camp for Private Ryan. The Unit, we had Eric Haney there, who wrote the book that we based the show on. And one of the things that there's a big responsibility playing a soldier for me, right? It can be you can take the job and you can put a two-dimensional, order barking gunslinger on camera. But for me, the challenge is making that character human, right? Bringing some emotion to it, bringing some internal life to it, and getting the tactics right, and doing you guys justice so that when, it's not nobody's rolling their eyes in the theater going, oh God, he's sweeping his guys, and so I pay a lot of attention to trying to get those details right. And,
I wouldn't say try, man. You've done it. It's been.
Thanks.
I mean, we watching The Unit was fun. I mean, granted, it's Hollywood, but even getting the social dynamic right of what goes on at home with being gone all the time and coming home, and you have all these home problems, and then you still got to go do this job, and so it was. I think The Unit was probably the first time that we kind of saw a TV show, at least at that time. I think you guys really kind of paved the way for that kind of military drama. I mean, all the stuff that's come out since then. You know, you kind of go back and you look at Unit.
We did it,
you know,
originally.
And that's your guys' acting, and that's pretty cool to see Hollywood get it right, because there are plenty of movies where, you know, some of us go in there and watch like, oh, bro, come on.
Well, you know, Haney was. I mean, I remember when I got the job, he was like, look. What we're not going to do is make a mockery of what I did, right?
That's awesome.
So we're going to get this right. And I remember, you know, like halfway through the show, we organized a couple trips to the Middle East and going over there, and it was huge, dude. Yeah. It was, I mean, we went, wow. You know, I guess we're doing something right. And so many kids came up to me and they were like, you know, I went to Ranger School because I joined the military because of this show. We went to the Middle East and walked in on people watching the show. I mean, it was really cool to see something that you're putting out there have an effect, a positive effect, you know, on soldiers, you know.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Your character in Osiris, Kelly, is leading Special Forces commandos against alien hunters, but you're maintaining real military protocols even in this otherworldly scenario. How did you approach that challenge?
Well, I had a buddy come on that was a former SEAL Team 6 guy, and so we met on Captain Phillips. We're super tight. And so he was there kind of, you know, unfucking everybody. I don't know if you could say that.
Yeah, bro.
Show.
This is raw, bro.
And you know, and he was there for the production part of it, the filming part of it. So you know, he just put us through the, you know, all the motions. I mean, and really kind of you know, detail oriented kind of training. So I mean, he and I spent, I don't know, 2 days on my draw, you know, just my transition. You know, I'd transition to my secondary, and he'd go, no, do it again. No, do it again. Okay, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
You know, and then he'd videotape me, and there was a dip in you know, I'm like, okay, but that's it, you know, and I love that. I'm like, I'm all about that stuff. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
You're working in Osiris with director William Kaufman, who I know you worked with on the channel, who's a former Army Cav Scout. How does his military background serve the authenticity of this film compared to directors kind of who don't have a military experience?
He cares. That's the bottom line. You know, like I've been on shows where, you know, you'll say, yeah, but this isn't militarily accurate. They go, it's a movie. It's a movie. Get over it. Like, just do it. Do what I'm telling you, and then you got to do it. This is when people go, oh God. I mean, it was a little Hollywood.
Yeah.
But Will really loves his military audience, you know, as do I. So he puts together these little film families that, you know, try to put something out for the military that they're going to appreciate. You know?
Yeah, I remember when the channel came up, we watched it here. Me and a couple friends. And, you know, we saw your picture. I'm like, dude, that's the dude from the unit. But we thought, I don't know, man, we watched that. The channel was awesome. That was a great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Great plot. You know, and it probably was a little fun for you too. Not, you know, the typical, hey, I'm in the SEAL team with Delta Force. That was, I mean, you guys played bank robbers in that one.
Yeah.
It was super entertaining, man. Which I know that's your job, so good job for entertaining.
Yeah,
but it was great. That was a great movie. You know, and I think I noticed too. I was really watching that movie, and you know, my close friend, as we were talking before we started, you know, some of the guns you guys were using there was his gun. So it was just really had that super authentic. That was another very raw film that was super fun to watch.
Yeah.
You chose practical effects with Todd Masters over CGI, you know, kind of spectacle stuff. You shot this for, I think, $6.7 million. Mm-hmm. Did you guys shoot this in New Orleans?
That's about right. Yeah, I think so.
Did you guys film this one in Louisiana?
It was all in Louisiana. I'm glad you brought up Todd Masters because one of the things that's really cool about this movie is that, you know, like nowadays we're bombarded with VFX monsters, right? So they went practical. They went sort of old school pre-VFX. The creatures, when you see them, are creature actors basically in suits. So watching these guys was fascinating because, you know, they come in, they put the suit on, and then they start building the behaviorisms, the you know, the body language for these creatures, these aliens, and the actor's head comes up to about the shoulders of the suit, and then everything above that is animatronic. So there were creature artists off camera manipulating the facial expressions of the aliens and and the saliva coming out of the nose and mouth, and it was old school. And so for people that remember those days, it's a cool homage, and then for people the younger generation, they'll be pretty amazed, I think, too.
What was the thought process in choosing that more old school tactic? I love it.
I think just because it's unfamiliar to the younger audiences, and you try at a certain point. It's like you try to keep reinventing the wheel, but it's saturated, right? So I think Will's idea was let's just turn it around in the other direction. Let's go old school. Let's go practical.
Love it.
And man, me too. I mean, I think it's so successful in that regard.
You've trained with guys from Delta, the SEALs, FBI, CIA throughout your career. How do you apply that real world tactical knowledge to fighting extraterrestrial threats?
Wow. I mean, you got to kind of just surrender to the fact that, this is really make-believe. I mean, it's, so it's like, it's a little easier with, bad guys in front of you that are, on weapons. But, look, I mean, you just got to commit to it and say, okay, I'm in the alien world now. But we move through the ship tactically. We take corners tactically. Hopefully we put together this little military unit that seems like they've been together for a while.
Oh, well, you had some bangers in there, man. Michael Irby's in there.
Irby. Yeah.
LaMonica's in there, and you guys were all just. I know Mike didn't do Lioness, but I mean, everybody watched you guys in Lioness, man.
Yeah.
Dope, man.
Yeah, Lioness is great. Man. So LaMonica and I did do Lioness. We did second season together, and then Michael Irby and I were on the unit together for 4 years.
Yeah, then Michael, I think he was in. He's done some roles in SEAL Team as well.
Yeah, he was on SEAL Team.
So yeah,
sure,
man. Yeah. You put together a good crew.
Yeah, they had some skills coming in.
That question that drives every scene. What would real special operations do? How does that? I mean, how do you really? You guys have to talk about stuff before you shoot, and you guys rehearse a bunch of stuff, or how does that work in the film industry?
Yeah, definitely. We definitely talk through. What I mean, it's all choreographed, right? I mean, there's a little bit of improvising. If this guy moves this way, you're going right. So we know all that, and sometimes on camera we'll just say let me just see what you guys do, right? So there's a lot of collaboration, a lot of improvising, and if you've trained enough, you can do that. But for the most part, it's choreographed, But we would go in with my team buddy and block it all out, and at the beginning of the day before we start shooting. And
did you find that helpful? That pre-practice and that planning?
Yeah, it's helpful. I mean, Max Martini, I like going into a scenario that I'm not familiar with and clearing it, right? Lioness, we had Taylor Sheridan's got a great shoot house. Dude, it's so great. And so the walls move, you can reconfigure everything. So training for that, they would just put up, steel targets, and we'd go in not knowing, how it was configured and clear it.
Plus you're constantly problem solving in your mind, so it gives you, you're constantly learning. So I could see how doing a repetitive thing over and over and over. I mean, it's good for creating muscle memory, but I would imagine as an actor, you're like, bro, I've done this.
No, I mean, not for me. Cool. Because for me, it's like golf. It's like you're never where you want to be. There's always room for improvement. So, I train off camera, right? So I go out, and hit the range pretty regularly.
Well, I saw you on a Terran Tactical video.
Yeah, I've been out there. We did 13 hours out there. He's got a great range because they don't keep you on the line, right? You can move, and there's some shoot houses and stuff. And
Linda Hamilton returns to film after 5 years to join your squad. What convinced Sarah Connor herself to be a part of this mission?
This is her world, you know. I mean, she's for me, as a kid, she was the original female badass, right? Yeah. So pretty cool to have her on. and she came in with her game face on, ready to go, and she's, I don't know how old she is now, but she's grabbed a rifle and owned it.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. She slipped right back into it.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Her character Anya is leading survivors alongside your Kelly character. What's the tactical leadership dynamic like when you're both under pressure?
I mean, I think at that point, she's been sort of, not to give away any big story points, but she needed us as bad as we needed her. So, you kind of feel like you're coming in as equals, and, let's put our heads together and see how we can get out of here.
Yeah. You're building this believable unit cohesion with Brianna Hildebrand from Deadpool and LaMonica Garrett from 1883 and The Lioness. How do you create that authentic military family dynamic under these kind of circumstances?
Beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of beer. Yeah.
Well, glad you're bringing that realism of
That's right. Yeah.
Post-op.
No, we would, there was a lot of bonding. I mean, but like I said, LaMonica and I knew each other, Irby and I knew each other. Linz Edwards and Jaron Mitchell and I were all in the channel together. So we had all kind of been.
Yeah.
Brianna, oddly, was the one that had to kind of integrate, into this group that was, had already become pretty tight.
Yeah.
So, but Brianna and I have a movie that we did afterwards. It's like a modern Western called Bethesda, which is coming out, and she's so good.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, she's amazing. So that I've got that in the background.
That's got to be a fun mix up too, man. I mean, because you've really nailed these military roles. But I would imagine at some point it gets kind of repetitive.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where I'm either going to play brass, right? The general, or do other things. And so Bethesda, I play a former Texas Ranger. And, so there's a little bit of that law enforcement, kind of, knowledge of weapons and coming into that one. But it's like a No Country for Old Men kind of movie. And then I also have a Western that's coming out that's 1870s. So I'm getting to kind of branch out a little bit. I cornered that military market pretty well, and now I think people are kind of going, wait a second, what if he was, what if we give him an 1870s revolver? Let's see what he does with that. It's kind of cool.
Let's see how he reloads.
Yeah,
that's cool. July 25th, Osiris hit theaters, so just last Friday.
Yeah.
And video on demand simultaneously. Why was maximum accessibility for military families worldwide, important to you?
Just because, I mean, look, man, the tactic. Look, I like I said, I love training, but I also love giving that back, so that you guys can come into the theater and go, oh God, he got it right, So it for me, this is, without my fans, I'm unemployed, right? So I got to make you happy, and it's so. That's what drives me,
That's cool. That's cool to hear.
Yeah.
You're competing against Fantastic Four, First Steps on, the same release date, independent, authentic storytelling versus kind of studio spectacle. What do you want to tell military and veteran audiences about the power of their support?
Of the power?
Of their support.
Of their support. I mean, look, it's important for us because it's a military film, right? So, but I really, in my heart, I know that the military is going to really dig this. And again, like I said, it's pure entertainment. I don't know. I have to actually think hard to go back and remember what was the last film that didn't preach some socio-political, didn't have an agenda, didn't have
that, man.
Oh God.
Yeah, we're all
right.
It sounds like if you, the actors, smoked, you can imagine how we feel as the audience.
Yeah. So this is a return to when it was just good old-fashioned entertainment.
I love it.
Yeah.
Military communities, our blue-collar communities, they created the success of films like 13 Hours and American Sniper with great actors kind of like yourself. How can they do that again for Osiris?
Just get behind it, support it, spread the word, tell your buddies. I mean, I think it's, and like I said, I think you'll see some familiar faces from, the shows that are on. Lioness, for one, is fantastic.
Yeah, everything Taylor touches is gold, man. And
he's just got
that, especially that second season, man, was super authentic, especially as a guy who's worked on the border in the past.
Yeah.
You guys did awesome.
Yeah.
This film goes beyond entertainment for you. I know you do a lot of advocacy work on the side. How does supporting this film support veteran advocacy and future authentic military projects?
I mean, how does it support? I think every time we represent you guys properly, it's supporting,
I would agree.
The image, right, and the vision, and what goes into doing what you do. And I mean, this is a little bit of a stretch to say that because it's sci-fi, but 13 Hours, for example, it's like, I remember going we had the premiere at AT&T Stadium, right, in Dallas, and it was packed. And they put it up on the Jumbotron. And at the end of that, halfway through that screening, I went into the bar, and all the wives were in the bar, because they couldn't relive it. They were like, it's too close to home. So, doing these types of films properly and honoring our service people, the stories that we're telling, it's you're sharing history, you're sharing heart, you're sharing me sharing that story, is something that shows what the difficulty that these women go through. I mean, that aren't in combat. They're fighting a whole separate battle at home, not knowing if their guys are coming home. I get emotional even talking about it, So it's informing the public of certain aspects of this type of a life that they don't know, and I'm the storyteller.
I love that, dude. You're raw, you're authentic. I mean, even talking to you, you're not the only person that we've, talked to in Hollywood or been in talks with, and I've had to deal with PR people and, studios and all kinds of crap, and it was nice to be able to talk to you on the phone. Hey, man, here's the plan. I know you don't have a lot of time, and again, I think that just speaks to who you are, just as a human. I mean, yeah, you're an actor, and yes, you do entertainment, but you've also, as somebody who's chosen this life of acting, you take it seriously, and I can tell you, we appreciate it, because not only, Saving Private Ryan is not only a great movie that I've watched a lot. My kid, my son, who's probably going to serve, has seen that movie no less than 5 times, and so. Yeah. That's one of those, to your point, that was, especially Saving Private Ryan, 13 Hours. Yeah. Those were historical films, and I can imagine there was a lot of pressure on you.
Well, let me add, because you were asking what sort of the importance. I mean, I remember going to the premiere of Private Ryan. I've told this in interviews, but it's so important that people know this, is that like, for instance, Spielberg invited all these veterans, World War II veterans, to the premiere, and I was in the middle of them, right? And that opening battle sequence finished, and I was like, oh my God, because I wasn't there for that. So that was new to me. I'm watching this thing, and I look around, I look at the veterans sitting next to me, and they were just drenched. And, this article came out, I think it was in the New York Times, it was part of the review, but after that, the release, and it basically talking about how that movie sparked a conversation amongst those veterans, right, about the experiences that they had been sitting on for so long. And it was therapeutic, and that's the power of what I do, right? So when like, for me, there's a lot of people that get into this business that just want to feed their egos, right? But when you understand the power of this kind of art form and how it can be healing and how it can, validate what people do, for a living, i.e., you guys, it suddenly takes a different form, and it becomes very important.
Do you think, that validation you've got through these films by really being authentic, by obviously doing the homework, doing the work, doing the training, putting the effort in, and getting that validation makes you work just as hard on the next project and
harder,
that's awesome.
And it makes me want to just focus on films that have the potential to do that, And look, even I'm gonna, but even Osiris, like here's another fact. So when we went, the first time we went through the USO to the Middle East, right, and we got swept up by these spec ops guys pretty quick, and just taken to these little encampments, but we would hit these little camps, and I mean, these kids would come up to us like they couldn't fucking believe who was getting off of these Blackhawks. So they all watched the show. So even giving them a little hiatus, a little pause in the middle of just getting bombarded on a daily basis, was enough, man. It was like this, and I walked away going, this is why the USO does what they do. This is the importance of it. It's like giving these kids in combat, men, women, a little taste of home, right? A break. And that's enough for me. That's like, if I can give you a little entertainment from the grind, a break from the grind, then come on, that's gold,
Well, for all you guys out there listening, I mean, I could sit here and pump up Max. I don't need to. I mean, I think if you just listen to what he just said, whether you're a sci-fi dude or not, go support this movie, because you're supporting an actor and a director that is going to make movies in the future, that has really done his homework to bring a good product to us. So go support this dude. Whether you go to the movies, I still like going to the movies. That's,
yeah, me too.
But it's going to be on video demand. Just you guys waste, I don't know, $20 on Starbucks, dude. Like support. Support this industry, support Max. So I just want to thank you for stopping by.
Thank you, brother. Yeah.
And letting us talk for a little bit, and we'll get this out, and it was good to get a real good talk to you, man.
Yeah, so, Osiris, it's streaming everywhere. Go see it. I'm posting behind the scenes stuff on my Instagram if you want to do that. It's Max Martini LA. But yeah, go check it out. You'll love it.
We'll put links to the movie, to where the video on demand is. We'll put links to Mike's or to Max's Instagram. Please give this dude a follow, man. Awesome. So hey, everybody, stay safe out there. If you can't be safe, be violent out here.